Welcome, Slayer the Alchemist, and on today's episode, 5 artists who I think should release solo albums. These are artists that maybe they're in bands where they're overshadowed a little bit by some other member, or maybe I just kind of feel like they'd be somebody that might have something interesting to contribute on their own away from their normal band. I tried to spread it around here, so I've got a singer, a bass player, a guitar player, a drummer. I've actually got 2 bass players, and a singer bass player. All right, so let's jump right into it. First, and these are in no particular order. First, Michael Anthony from Van Halen. His background vocals are a huge part of the sound of Van Halen. In fact, I think I did a video that was like underrated musicians in bands, something like that. I'll try to leave that linked down below. But his voice is really interesting. He certainly gets overshadowed by Eddie Van Halen and David Lee Roth, and he just doesn't get talked about a lot. But I think it would be really cool with his voice to hear him playing bass, singing lead vocals on a solo album. I think it could be interesting. Okay, next is a singer who also plays bass, but I'm thinking of him here as a singer, Tom Araya from Slayer. And for this one, I would kind of like, Kerry King has his new solo project thing, and it sounds very much like Slayer. But with Tom, I would almost like to see him do something different, still heavy, but maybe in a more mellower way, a more quieter way, like him doing, like, instead of screaming like that. I'd be really curious to hear what kind of natural singing voice he has. So I think he could do some really cool stuff, maybe some different influences, some different sounds, acoustic instruments, stuff like that. Something that would still heavy and dark, but in a different kind of way than what you get with Slayer. Okay, another bass player, Jeff Pilson from Dokken fame. Jeff is another guy that has a great voice. He sings background vocals in Dokken and a lot of the bands that he's played with. He's also a producer now, so I think that would be really interesting. So I'd like to hear him singing lead vocals, some of his own music, and hear what that sounds like. I think that could be really interesting. Next, Oz Fox, the guitar player for Stryper. Here's another guy that has a great voice. If you've ever seen Stryper live, his harmonies are right there, and he really jumps out of the mix. I'm trying to think, is somewhere I heard him singing. I think it was maybe like Michael Sweet was sick or something, and he sang some of the lead vocals, and he sounded amazing. Like, he has this really incredible voice, and I always liked his guitar playing. I like his guitar sound. He's got kind of that Rockman, Tom Scholz, Boston, very mid-rangey type of guitar sound. So I think it could be really interesting to hear what he would do with his solo album where he's singing lead vocals. All right, and last I have Danny Carey, the drummer from Tool. He's an amazing drummer. He's an interesting drummer. He also seems to not be against experimenting with sounds. So I would love to hear a solo album from him where he's experimenting with different sounds. Maybe there's some electronic elements to what he's doing. Maybe it's a little fusiony, jazzy, but it will have like a lot of different sounds and percussion and rhythms. And he likes polyrhythms, meaning he's playing like 4 against 3 and all these crazy things. So I could just really see him making a really interesting album where the drums are really sort of carrying the whole record. So, all right, let me know what you think of my picks. What would some of your picks be? Let me know in the comments down below. Make sure you hit like and subscribe. Until we see you again, make sure you rock hard, ride free.